everyone, it's Adrian73 here, and today I'm going to show you how to sew a nightgown for your American Girl doll. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and comment down below if you want more sewing tutorials. So yeah, let's get started. So for materials, what you're going to need is a sewing machine, and if you don't have one, you could hand sew, but sewing with a sewing machine is easier. You're also going to need some fabric of your choice. Today I'm going to be using this really pretty light pink fabric that has little stars on it. You're also going to need one of your doll nightgowns for the pattern. Now if you don't have like a doll nightgown, you could use a pattern, but I find that your own doll clothes is really easier than buying patterns, because patterns and me, I don't know what's up with me and patterns, but I don't really work with them. I just don't like working with patterns, so I decided that using your doll clothes is much easier and cheaper because you don't have to go spend like another $10 on patterns. So I'm just using this nightgown from Kit's collection, so yeah. Also going to need some thread and a needle. I want a button, so the one I'm using is just this light pink one to go with my fabric. I'm going to want some sewing pins and some fabric scissors. First thing you're going to want to do is take your fabric, and you're just going to want to make sure that you just open the whole thing up, because usually when you get fabric from like Joann's, it comes like this, so it has like 2 layers, but you're just going to want to open it up. And then, this is kind of hard to do on camera, so wait one second. So you're just going to want to put it so that the good side is facing inwards, so when you fold it, you see the bad side facing upwards, if that makes any sense. So this is just what you should have and what your fabric should look like, because you don't want this being like the print of your nightgown. You want this to be your print of the nightgown. So that's how we do that, and you guys will realize when we get closer to the end why this is so important. Now you're just going to place your nightgown on the fabric and make sure like the arm pieces are like spread out and it's all like spread out and nice. Now this is optional because some people might not want to put pins in their doll clothing, but I'm just going to put the pins in here so that my nightgown stays secure and I don't accidentally move it and then end up cutting my nightgown while I'm trying to cut the fabric. Once your pins are in place, I really recommend doing this very, very carefully, but you're going to want to cut around your doll nightgown. Now, I do not want to be the reason why you go crying to your parents that one of your doll clothing got cut or something like that. I really recommend you give about an inch of space and then you just cut around. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just cut about this much around, because you don't want it to be so close to the nightgown where you get to the point where you actually end up cutting it. So you just want to make sure that you cut around the nightgown, but make sure you don't cut a huge circle. You want to cut generously around the nightgown. So yeah. Once you are done taking your nightgown off, this is what your fabric should look like, and you want to make sure you don't take these 2 pieces apart, because that's just not going to be good. You want to keep them together. And yes, so this is what it should look like. You guys are probably thinking it's way too big, it's going to look super huge on them, but really once you're done, it should look perfectly fine. And also the neckline here, I cut a little neckline out because on this nightgown that I used, it was like this, and it had this buttoning here, and I'm not going to be doing that. So I just thought that this neckline here would be nice, so that it's not it doesn't look like a turtleneck nightgown. So now I'm just putting sewing pins around the edges. So I'm putting them right about here, and this is going to be my guideline, so I know that I'm going to sew about right here. And maybe if you want a skinnier nightgown, if you don't want it too flowy, you could probably put it about right here. So yeah, but I'm just going to be putting it about right there. So you're just going to want to line them up all around your nightgown, and if you want to, you could put some in the center. So once you have your pins in place, I recommend using some kind of marker to lightly mark this bottom area here, because I cannot tell you guys how many times I have sewn something and ended up sewing it closed. Like I sewed this part and I sewed the neckline and it was pretty much garbage. So you want to make sure you take like a light marker, and you don't even want to barely do anything with it. You're just going to want to like make a little mark so you know that once you get down here, when you're sewing down here, you don't want to go this way. So I'm just going to do that down there and at the neckline. And I also did that to the sleeves as well. So now it's the sewing part, and I actually got a request to like show you guys how I sew it. And I think that would be way too hard for me, to be totally honest, because I can't really hold a camera and sew something. It's just like not really possible for me. But there are so many professional sewing tutorials on YouTube. So if you're not really that confident on like how you know how to sew, then you could go check out those tutorials. So yeah, they'll give much better advice than I could give you. So anyways, you're just gonna want to sew this part here, this part, that, and you don't want to sew this, but you're just going to sew that. And yeah, we're done sewing your nightgown. This is what it should look like. I kind of ran out of this light pink thread, so I just used this red thread. So yeah. So now you're just going to take all the pins out of it, which I already did, and you're just going to turn it inside out. The nightgown should look like. I'm really happy about mine, how mine turned out. This is like my first time making a doll nightgown, but the arms are like, they look really small, but it's just because they're not like popped out because I just like turned them inside out. So once you get your doll in the nightgown, then it will eventually get bigger. So yes, I really like how mine turned out. I'm just going to fix the neckline a little bit because it kind of looks a little short in my opinion. So I'm just going to fix it and make it bigger. And then I am going to show you guys what the button is for. Just cut my neckline a little bit deeper and now it looks much better. So now I'm going to show you guys what the button and needle and thread is for. So you could choose what side you want to be the front of your nightgown. I'm just using this side because the back side has like this white here because the fabric said like Joann's at the bottom, and I got part of that on the sleeve, but that's okay. I'm just going to be using this for the front. So you're just going to want to turn it around, and on the back side you're going to want to cut about a slit this big, like down to about here where the like little armpit hole is. So you're just going to cut about there, and believe me, you do not want to cut both of them, so you want to make sure that you like open it up and you only cut the bottom, or not the bottom piece, but like the back piece. So yeah, Velcro, you could just like cut all the way down and sew some Velcro on, and then it'll be much easier. But I don't have Velcro. I like to do it the more like old-fashioned way. So anyways, now I just cut a little slit, and that's how big it is. It's not that big. So yeah, it comes a little bit lower than that little armpit thing. So yeah, now I'm just going to slip this in one of my dolls and just see if I need to cut anything, like if the arm sleeves are too long or something like that. This is what the button looks like when I sewed it, and now I'm just going to cut a little slit right here. And make sure you don't cut it like going that way. You're just going to like pinch it and then cut a little bit off so you'll be able to put the fabric through the button. And make sure you don't do this before I show you guys what happens next, because just so you'll maybe understand it better. That's what the slit looks like, and now I'm just going to put this through the button. I can't really do this on camera, so just wait a sec. So this is what it looks like on Emily, and sorry that like the ending is a little weird. It's just because my video editor cannot export 10 videos, like 10-minute videos, like videos that are over 10 minutes. So yeah, and the video was 10 minutes and 49 seconds, so I had to delete a few parts in the ending, so it might be a little awkward. But yeah, I just pretty much sewed the button, cut the little slit out, and put the button in the slit, and then you're all done. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.